Okay. Hi, I'm Louisa. I'm part of the organizing team for the Point Sud conference, Struggles for Democracy in the Global South. And we organized this conference in Dakar last year. And an important topic during the conference was how social movements in Africa dealt and are dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. And yes, we are aiming to get different perspectives from activists across the continent. So we started this little YouTube series. Today we are talking with Patricia Akakpo, who is based in Ghana. Thank you so much for being with us today, Patricia.
Thank you, Louisa.
Yes, you will see I'm without camera today since our internet connection is a bit shaky, but we hope it will work out. Patricia, could you tell us a little bit about the movement or organization you are working with and what you're actually struggling for in Ghana?
So I'm working with the Network for Women's Rights in Ghana, known as NetRight. And NetRight is a network of organizations and individuals working to promote gender dimensions in national processes, policies, and programs. So our core mandate is to advance women's rights and gender equality.
Fantastic. That sounds really, really interesting. Can you tell us a bit more who is part of this organization and who you're actually mobilizing and working with?
Okay, so maybe a brief history about NetRight. NetRight was started in 1999 as a response to the absence of a stronger voice of women rights organizations in national policy advocacy. So in 1999, there was a research on national machineries. And one of the things that was recognized as a gap in Ghana was the fact that there were a lot of organizations, especially women rights organizations, working in silos. So you had organizations working on governance, you had organizations working on violence, education, among others. But when it comes to a national platform that provides that kind of collective voice, that kind of stronger voice to engage in policy processes, there was none in existence. So that birthed NetRight. And when NetRight was established, one of the key areas that we realized needed attention was economic justice issues. So the network decided to focus on economic justice issues. Currently, we focus on 3 thematic areas, economic justice being the key area, and then natural resource governance, and movement building. So these are the 3 key areas that we focus on. With regard to our membership, we currently have 124 organizations across the country. Ghana has 16 regions, administrative regions. We have 124 organizations across the country, as I mentioned, and over 300 individual members. So when you are in NetRight, either an organization or an individual can be a member of NetRight, but then you have to believe in our vision and mission. We are a feminist network. So if you believe in women's rights, if you believe in gender equality, if we believe in women's empowerment, then you can be part of NetRight.
Fantastic. That's really interesting. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
If you look back to the years of the pandemic, can you tell me what were some challenges for the movement?
Okay. So our challenges, and maybe to add to what I said earlier on, so our membership is made up of both those in formal economy and informal economy. So that's our structure. So you have well-structured organizations and you have also community-based organizations. When it comes to individual members, if it's about education, you have people with high level of education. And if it's about indigenous knowledge, I wouldn't say illiterate, but people with no formal education, we also find it in NetRight. So during COVID, then it was important for us to devise strategies that will enable us to reach out to both and those who will be able to contact through using digital technology and also find ways of addressing reaching out to those that will not have access to digital technology. You agree with me that when COVID came, it also increased the use of digital technology.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a huge challenge because has a network and has the secretariat that coordinates the network activities, then we even had to restructure our work.
Mm-hmm.
Also think about flexibility in working times. So we needed to look at how we could even operate from home whilst reaching out to our constituencies. There were issues about our constituencies also having even difficulty to reach out to their own. We are a national network and we deal through our members to reach out to the grassroots, to reach out to communities. But they also had challenges because of the protocols that were introduced. So it was important for us to find how best we could reach out to the different constituencies in order not to leave anyone behind. So one of the key things that we did was to do an internal survey to identify the needs of our members, and based on that, develop programs to address those needs.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. You already mentioned digitalization really took up in Ghana during the pandemic. So would you say there were also a few new opportunities opening up for your network?
New opportunities in terms of, for instance, using digital technology that, as I mentioned. So now, even now that the protocols have been relaxed, even now that COVID is still with us, so I can't say that we no longer have COVID.
True.
But then it's also opening up opportunities to also in organizing meetings, organize hybrid meetings. So we have those that can come in person and then those that can join virtually. But you know that when you ask about the challenges, it also comes with cost implications, because when you are restructuring your ways of working, there were a lot of things that we had to put in place to ensure that we were able to achieve that. So there was also cost implications. And I must also admit that in reaching out to our informal economy members, it was a bit critical because most of them couldn't access, should I say, access virtual tools to be able to join virtually when there were prohibitions about social gathering and all that.
Yes, I can see
And
that.
even when we're organizing in-person meetings, then we needed to ensure that the necessary safety protocols are put in place to ensure that anybody that were at those meetings were protected. So it had a bit of cost involved that we needed to deal with. But then, yes, as you said, there were also opportunities, because that also helped us to design programs to build the capacity of our members in digital technology. And even with the constituencies that we have, a lot of people took advantage of digital technology to sell their products, but I realized that most of our women, our members who were market women and all that, could not, because of lack of knowledge of how to use the digital technology, were missing out. So some of the things we did was to build their capacity to use simple tools to be able to market their products.
Fantastic. Really interesting, Patricia. Thank you for giving us this insight into how things were in Ghana and for your organization and network.
You're welcome.
Maybe as a last question, could you tell us what you hope to accomplish with the network in the upcoming years?
For us as Netrites, one of the things that we find ourselves doing, we always say that we are not an umbrella organization. We are a membership-based organization. But then there are lots of feminist organizations, women rights organizations in Ghana that are members of Netrites. So we kind of see ourselves providing leadership within the feminist space. So in the Yes, Carmen, we look forward to continuing to provide a collective platform for debates around women's rights issues, continue to push for women's rights, continue to protect women, continue to ensure that women are empowered, especially economically empowered, their livelihoods are protected, and they have a stronger voice to engage in national spaces. And we will continue to look at, and in all this, we don't pretend to be the voice of women, but continue to facilitate entry points where women, vulnerable groups will be their own voices, be it at the community level, at the district level, at the national level, and even linking the national to the global community, women being their own voices in all those spaces and their rights being protected.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Patricia. That was really
Thank you
super
too.
interesting. I
You're
really
welcome.
enjoyed that talk. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.